Now, this is part two. You've already seen, hopefully you've seen the executive escalation on how and when to contact the legal department of the credit bureau. Now, this is part two. And what I'm going to take you step by step on how to call the credit bureaus, record the call, and identify violations of your consumer rights so you can get the account deleted. So before you contact the credit bureau, let's go step by step. You want to review your file. You want to review every dispute letter you submitted, the responses from the credit bureaus, the ones that they sent to you in writing or email, and the response to your CFPB complaints. You want to have all of those in front of you. What you're looking for are violations that you need to identify so when you make the call, you'll have the ammunition necessary to get this account removed. And let me take a quick second to tell you, when you contact the credit bureaus, you're not looking for them to immediately remove the account on the phone call. The phone call is designed to get the information that will get the account removed provided to you by the agent that you speak to. So you're going to review the file first. What you're looking for, and give you an example, when I was getting an account removed from TransUnion, I noticed that in each response that TransUnion sent me in writing, there was a different file number, meaning disputes. Even though it was one account, every time I submitted or escalated a dispute, they created a new file, which is a violation of your consumer rights, because that meant two files existed at the same time. So there's no way you as the consumer would know how the investigation was being conducted, nor would you get the information being requested by your dispute letter, because there are two files going, or three. In my case, there were four. So I wrote down each file number, and I had that information for my call. Now, another violation that is more common, credit bureaus will respond account verified even though you requested method of verification, which requires the credit bureau to tell you who they contacted at the data furnisher, the original creditor or the debt collector, who did they speak to, what method of communication was used, whether it was email or phone, and how did they verify that that account was yours. Did they have a copy and provide you a copy of the original application? The payment history recorded by the actual creditor? In fact, in the case of a third-party debt collector, did they provide the sales contract from the original creditor to the debt collector? Most of the time, credit bureaus fail to do that. They will normally respond account verified or previously investigated, or they'll use another stall tactic, requesting a copy of your ID, Social Security card, and a utility bill, because they're saying they need to verify your identification. If you already submitted that information in your first round of disputes, as I've described in previous videos, you will now understand that is a stall tactic. They never investigated your dispute. you want to place that information on a note paper, so when you call, you'll know either they didn't provide method of verification, they never investigated. When they start saying account verified, and did not provide you the method of verification, that means they never investigated your dispute. What they did was verify your personal information with the creditor or debt collector. They verified your name, your social, date of birth, address, and contact information. And if the debt collector or original creditor responds and says, we had the same information, they verified your account, which is a violation of your consumer rights, because they actually didn't verify that account was yours. What they verified is that you have something, a relationship with that debt collector or creditor. Now, you want to have all this information written down before your call. This is the preparation process. This takes about an hour. You also want to review how did they respond to consumer CFPB complaints. What I have found and what people have emailed me, they will state on the CFPB's website the response. Typically, we have responded in writing to the consumer and we sent them a letter. That's all they have to do on their CFPB response. That's the bare minimum. If they've done that, that is a violation of your consumer rights, because when you go to the CFPB, you have escalated it and you're requesting verification of account status. And them simply stating they sent you a letter, that is not verification of account status. That just meant they sent you a letter. You want to have all this information documented. The most important response is their last response letter. If they sent you a response and it went something like I previously described, and this is your third attempt, fourth attempt, or even fifth attempt to have this account removed, you want to make sure you document the date of that letter, file number or report number, and what did they say in that letter. Once you have that, and you want to have that letter available for your call. Once you have all of those documents, you have the dates, the report numbers, the violations, the last piece of documentation you need are copies or proof of receipt of when you submitted your dispute or when did you submit your CFPB complaint. Because you're going to, in the call, use that information potentially, but you have to have access to it. Once you have all that information, now you're going to call the credit bureaus. You would have prepared the questions you want to ask, and the main question is, this is the last, on this letter, this is what was said, and there was no proof that this was my account. So please explain to me in detail, how was this process done? But before you ask the customer service agent that question, you want to make sure you're recording the call. So whether you have an iPhone or Android, start the recording right after you go through the menu. And the menu will take you step by step, but make sure you start recording when it says waiting for an agent. You will be connected with an agent. That's when you start recording. Once the agent answers the telephone, you're going to ask for the agent name and the agent ID. Now, when calling TransUnion, you're going to wait to the conclusion of the call and ask for the call ID, because they don't have an agent ID, but they do have an ID associated with each phone call. Now, as soon as the agent picks up, you're going to ask for their name, and remember, Experian and Equifax, the agent ID, TransUnion, the call ID at the end of the call. When you're talking, this is not an adversarial conversation. You want to have a low tone, you want to be extremely professional and calm, and you want to use the first name of the agent, because they typically don't give you the last name. So if her name is Angela, you want to be respectful and say, hey, Angela, on February 18th, I got this response stating the account was verified. There was no information on how this account was verified. Can you please tell me? Let them talk. Do not cut them off. Now, once they tell you or give you a response, you want to follow up. You want to make sure you have included in your call, say, well, I've also submitted a CFPB complaint and I got this response. Can you please elaborate and tell me exactly why I got that response? Because I just want to know. Once you gather all this information, each time the agent speaks, use their name, and most of the time when you tell them the call is being recorded, they're going to respond, I don't give you permission. That is no consequence to you, simply due to the fact they're recording the call as well. Once you have finished the conversation, make sure you said, all right, thank you, Angela, for explaining this to me. I really appreciate it. And you're going to conclude the call. Once you conclude the call, that is when the next step and the most powerful step will go forward. But that is how you conduct the call. Now, several of the credit bureaus, especially TransUnion and Experian, make it hard to reach an individual or a human. Choose Spanish. Click, I want to speak to someone in Spanish. Once they pick up, they talk and speak English. So you don't need a Spanish speaker and you don't need to know Spanish. You just need to get somebody on the telephone. Once you get them on the telephone, always remember, you want to be nice. You want to be cordial. This is not an adversarial conversation. Once you have it recorded, I'm going to take you step by step on part 3, how to use this information to get that account removed. Also, make sure you look in the description and the first comment, and I'm going to tell you exactly what USC codes to use or look for to identify violations. Hopefully, this has helped, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. So, if you have any questions, leave a comment. If you have something personal, email me at perfectscore@$10creditrepair.com. If it's a personal, if it's a regular comment, just leave it and share this video. Thank you.